Hey everyone, thank you for listening to another episode of Spoiler Force Podcast. You can find all episodes on any podcasting platform like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and watch episodes on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and make sure to follow Spoiler Force on all social media platforms at Spoiler Force Podcast.
This is Mark Whitten, and you're listening to Spoiler Force Podcast. Set your heart ablaze.
All right, so this is episode 109 of Spoiler Force Podcast. My name is Ricky, and thank you for tuning in. As you can see, I have multiple guests tonight. Returning guests, my cousin Michael and Bobby, and new guest, Sharon Kim of the Sharon Stuff Podcast. Thank you, Sharon, for jumping on this roundtable to talk about Demon Slayer Season 2.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so hyped. There's so much to talk about.
Definitely. Yeah. Before we continue on, though, you have not read the manga yet, right? So that way we can theorize later on, right?
Yeah, I have not read the manga.
Okay. I know, Michael, you haven't, and Bobby, have you read it, right?
I've read up to the next arc.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
all right. So yeah, with Demon Slayer Season 2 just ending last week, it was, I thought, one of the best seasons I've seen or over this past winter season, and with it being on Sundays, I was happy to have something to look forward to now, including with Attack on Titan. But now that it's done, it just kind of sucks. It just leaves a big cliffhanger. But yeah, it's something that Demon Slayer has a really big place in my heart, especially with family, and it's a huge topic on my podcast, and I'm always talking about it, and I can't wait to just dive into this. So what was your guys' thoughts overall, including with the retelling of the Mugen Train arc? Michael, we'll start with you.
Okay. So backstory, I kind of put off watching any Demon Slayer after Mugen Train because I kind of I'm a binger, so I like binging the whole thing. But I guess to kind of push the envelope there because Ricky told me that when he wanted to record and I hadn't started watching it, so I had a whole week. I watched the first episode of the Mugen Train season, and I loved it. I loved that they kind of go more into Rengoku and kind of how he ended up on the train, and I guess it just shows more of his character too, like when he's helping that the little girl and the grandma with that demon, and also showed why he had all those bentos. So
Yeah,
I kind of like the explanation of that. So,
and Bobby, did you watch that as well?
yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes of it, and then when I realized that it was going to be just a playback of the train, I was just kind of like, okay, well, I watched the important parts where they kind of filled in the gaps, like what Michael said. But yeah, I mean, the fact that they kind of went back and retold it, I understand it helped other people who didn't see the movies. I know some people who didn't watch the movie, and it helped them understand exactly what was going on up into the entertainment arc, the entertainment district arc itself. But yeah, I mean, the fact that they went back and just kind of played it, I wish they would have went into more of other stuff, but I mean, it was still good all in all. So
yeah, I really liked that first episode, just seeing just more Rengoku, right? Because after what happened to Rengoku in the movie, a lot of fans are just upset that they took out one of the best Hashiras so early in the game. The scene in the first episode when he's like imitating his dad, that like struck home with me big time. I love like the parallels of the grandma seeing like Rengoku doing the exact same motions as his dad. I thought that was freaking fantastic.
I love the nod to that as well.
I really wish that we had more Rengoku though, because after seeing before we get into the entertainment district, after seeing what Uzui can do, I really wish we saw what all his skill sets for Rengoku besides just what they showed in the movie. But yeah, I honestly think that was just a nod to all the Rengoku fans out there, just to have a little bit more of him in there. But that's pretty much it for the Mugen Train arc. I mean, aside from just a replay of the movie. I'm glad they didn't do like what Naruto and Dragon Ball Super did, and like just retell it in a different form. Because I know with the Boruto movie, they completely changed that up from the movie to the anime. But now with the Entertainment District arc, what was your guys' thoughts overall? Sharon, to start with you.
I just thought it was fantastic. Like the continued high quality of the animations, just like especially with the combat scenes. It's just one of the reasons why I love watching anime so much. Just to see the contrast with the breathing techniques and then the dark backgrounds. Just to be able to see more growth from our golden trio, Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu. Just sometimes it's just hard to put into words because I'm just like, what did I just watch?
Yeah, for 11 episodes, it was a lot of information. Like I remember reading the manga of this past arc, and it was really long. So I'm glad that they made this whole like the second half of the season that entire arc. And I really liked how with the death of Ren Goku, how it affected the three of them as well. Like you see how much harder they trained, and then you see like just the effect of them not being able to do anything. So, Michael, what was your thoughts on the just your overall thoughts on the Entertainment District?
I don't think I have enough time to really go into detail with everything that I really want to, but kind of like what Sharon said, like before I get there, one of my favorite parts. So, again, like Bobby, I skipped the Mugen Train part of the season. I mean, partially because I watched it. The other reason, like, I'll be honest, I don't want to cry again. But
that is a good reason. That is a good reason. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, and then episodes 1 and 2 came around. I'm like, son of a, like they just start like, especially when like when Rengoku's dad just starts breaking down. Like you see that he's just like fighting. He's like battling it in his own way. But
Dude,
when you see him,
that part made me cry, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
Man, oh my god, I was like, no, I said I was done crying. It's like, but from that, I love that it's just like a mini training arc for the trio, like Sharon said, and you see that the three of them, they go on their own missions by themselves solo, and you kind of see that wow, they really are starting to become strong, and seeing that, and then playing into the entertainment art, they hold their own. It's just like they're still who they are. Mind you, Zenitsu's like asleep the whole time, but they're stronger, and I absolutely love that. I want to say more about that.
You can go ahead, keep going. I just you brought a great point of them going solo. It makes me think of like how does Zenitsu go on solo missions without being so afraid of fighting demons?
It kind of shows like I'm gonna put this out there. I know a lot of people hate him, but he's my favorite. He has like his scenes are. I mean, it's a bit of a cliche, but they're flashy. It's just like the best like hype moments, in my opinion. That's just me. Maybe I'm biased, but no. And then I think Sharon also said seeing the breathing. I like. They actually, I don't know. Is it me or did they emphasize more on like just the minor animation of like Tanjiro breathing, and you can see him inhale. Like they kind of like exaggerated that. Man, it's just.
I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention to that. I know that the animation doesn't really pick up until they start fighting the upper moons. So I think like from the beginning, it was just steady comical animation, just standard, because Ufotable has a limitless budget, so they put all their money into just the fight scenes.
Yeah,
so,
man. And again, I'll say it again. It's just it was hard for me to find a place because I did binge it, so it's hard for me to find a place to stop. Like, okay, I'll stop here for the night and I'll pick up tomorrow because I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some kind of break in between like the fighting, but no, it literally just kept going and going. they did an amazing job with this season.
That's why you gotta watch it when it comes out. The break is the next week.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but I'm a binger. I can't wait for a week to watch it. I can. I'll be in suffering. So
And Bobby, what was your thoughts on the overall season?
The overall season, I liked it, especially in the beginning. I just loved how they tied it in, where Tanjiro goes and finds his dad and gives him the message and relays the message to the brother and everything like that. So I love how it ties into the Mugen Train there. And then, like you said about the training, the one thing I found, I was telling Lynn about this too, is just that it was hilarious how Tanjiro just completely forgot about his water training and just started using all his fire training. I'm just like, dude, like, come on, man, like, use the techniques that you know, like you're practicing all this new stuff against like this upper, demon, and you're like getting your ass kicked, dude. So maybe if you go back to what you know, you have a chance. But like I said, I understand what he was trying to do, and like you said, the animations was great. The storytelling of just the training and the abilities that he's developing and learning. I enjoyed it, man. Like, they just hit it spot on. How it shows the development of them from, like you said, their training, doing their own missions, their growth to where they're at, being able to take on these upper demons and hold their own. Where the Hashira is losing his arm and everything. I'm sorry, or maybe we'll go into that later, but getting his ass kicked and everything. So, and they're able to help him get through the battle and everything like that. So all in all, I mean, the great storytelling. There were, obviously there are parts in Demon Slayer where you're just kind of like, what are they doing? Like, making the guys dress like girls and do all that other stuff, which was funny. Like I said, I found it hilarious whenever nobody would take what's his name, Zenitsu, and he was just all like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna own this guitar and show you guys that I could play it really well and everything like that. Or he was the last one to get picked and they had to give him away. So all the little funny nuances that they had in there is funny. And like I said, all in all, they hit it spot on, where it wasn't too comical, but they had enough in there to where it kept you laughing, and the action was just perfect. The storytelling was perfect and everything. So,
bringing up
take back real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Michael.
I think we had a little brief exchange about it, but like when they wiped off Inosuke's makeup and they're like, oh, she's so beautiful.
yeah.
I was dying. Geez.
I was also laughing when he got the instructions not to talk because he cannot.
Oh yeah.
Settle. He was like,
your voice is very raspy and manly. Do not talk.
I love how Inosuke, as wild as he is, how he actually restrained himself being undercover like that.
Yeah.
Until he felt the demon's presence, but then like just seeing him running around or like walking around and cleaning, and they're like, telling him to do the next thing, he just nods his head and then goes on. It just shows how smart he really is, but then he's so wild in the inside. So and then like his ability to feel things, just the through, I guess, just like the presence of things and how the kimono that he was wearing was affecting his abilities. Like I can't tell where they're coming from because I have the clothes on me. But yeah, just I thought that just it was very comical for the first couple episodes. It was great. I really liked how they even went back and touched up on Zenitsu's hearing technique, and he could hear like the demons going around, and he was listening for Uzui's wives since they were there. And since Bobby brought up Uzui, what was your guys' thoughts on Uzui as a Hashira being this is pretty much his arc? Was he some? I guess was there characteristics that he had that you weren't expecting? We'll start with you, Sharon.
I think for me, it was just how ridiculously he was, just over the top. Just like, I think he straight up tells them to worship him. Just like, what?
He's a god. Yeah.
It's like, dude, shouldn't you show humility as a Hashira? But no. And I have in my notes just like one thing I was just kind of like, that I was kind of surprised that he has a Hashira is like he just took random girls in the beginning, he's like, he doesn't even check if they're members of the Demon Corps. He's just like, I'm gonna take these girls on a dangerous mission. They may not survive. It's like, dude.
Like, you're a girl. You're coming with me. That I need you, or something like that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, they do a pretty good job of making you kind of like question, like, wait, who is this guy? Like,
Yeah.
It's like, is he really Hashira? Like, he be careful what he does.
He did it all for his wife, man. He had to go back.
then you
and
learn
get
he
him.
has 3 wives. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just like, wait, what? And they're all okay with that?
He has game, I guess.
Did you guys notice like how each of his wives were similar to Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu as well?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. I love I guess my favorite wife that he has is what's it, Suma, the one that
Suma,
can't fight
yeah.
well. Yeah, the really
yeah.
crybaby one.
I like her for 2 reasons. Number one, because I guess she's a comical relief, and 2, her voice actor. I'm not a huge fan of, but I do like the other roles that she plays. So
What was your guys' thoughts on the upper moons? I can spoil a little bit. I won't go into detail, but like each upper moon has a unique way to, or I think each have a unique way to defeat them. So like to see how they fought Upper Moon 6, and that it wasn't just Daki that they had to kill off; they had to kill off Gyotaro as well. What was your thoughts on just the Upper Moon 6? Sharon, we'll start with you again.
First of all, I thought it was just intense. Like, this is Upper Moon 6, and they had such a hard time with the 2 of them, and just I can only imagine how much more intense it's going to be with the other Upper Moons. It's just I was not expecting the siblings. Like, I thought it was just going to be Daki. And like, yes, they finally beat her. It's like, nope, psych, think again. It's just, that was just such a nice twist to it. I loved it.
And Michael, you can go next.
she said it pretty spot on. Like when Tengen came in like with the swiftness and cut her head off, it was kind of like the whole like the it's like there was a omae shinderu, like you're already dead type of thing, and her head falls off and she starts crying, and then you start wondering like, okay, why is she not disappearing? Like, what the heck? And then so that you kind of feel like a bit of relief, but a bit of unease. Like, okay, what else is happening? But definitely it kind of just shows how frightening like the upper moons really are, especially like Gyutaro. He is like freaking like diabolic. Like, it's crazy how like sadistic he is. Like, just but by the way that he talks, he's got like tons of loose screws, but it kind of contrasts a lot to like how you see how Akaza was, but he was just very strong. It's really I really can't wait to see how much stronger the cast is gonna be to actually take on the upper moons when they get there. And I really can't, because you guys who have read the manga know what they're gonna look like, and all the upper moons. I'm kind of curious to know what they're gonna look like too, because they really like Daki's appearance, Gyutaro, it's Gyutaro, right?
Gyutaro? Yeah.
Gyutaro, yeah.
I keep thinking of what Daquan Wilshire says. Daquan Wilshire called them guitar heroes. I just keep thinking of that.
This is what happens when you binge it. It's just like you have to like the names are like, okay, what are the names? But yeah, no, it's I really liked seeing how uneasy it was for the trio and for Tengen to fight this upper moon. Can't wait to see where they're gonna go with it.
And Bobby, your thoughts on the upper moons?
I liked it. Like the way that they showed how strong it was, like especially like because you see how in the Mugen Train with that. I think that I mean, I looked up I got bored, and me and Lynn were talking about the rankings of like where the demons were, and compared to how Rengoku stacked up against whatever he was. I think it was ranked number 2 or 3, right? I think it was. I can't remember. But just to see like how he lost to that level compared to a level 6 where he was at and how they struggled. I liked how they went into in depth about like the levels that they go through in fighting these guys, like having to to battle them in the fights and everything like that. But all in all, like the fact that it took what 4 of them to take out 2, it kind of shows like the strength of the upper moons, and just shows like how much abilities you need to go through and fight them and to beat them.
I think what really made it tricky to kill Daki and Gyotaro was I don't know if this was stated in the series. I could be wrong, but the fact that they had to cut both of their heads off around the same time. If it wasn't, because if one gets one's head cut off, then the other one can go save them. And so, they kind of just showed that already when they took out where Inosuke cuts off Daki's head and runs away with their head, and then Gyotaro comes from behind and stabs him. So like they couldn't just do one off; they had to do it at the same time to separate and separate them. And Michael, you brought up a great point of like some sort of sense of urgency when they fight Upper Moon 6, because with the Kaza, Tanjiro, and the others, they couldn't jump in because they knew or even Inosuke says it, they knew they'd get killed trying to help Rengoku. But the fact that they were able to help Uzui fight this Upper Moon, and practically half the time they just got their butts kicked up until the end. I really like how, especially I guess in the animation, because compared to the manga, it was it just panels by panels, but with the animation there was a lot more urgency when it came to seeing, especially Gyotaro's ability with his blood sight. I really liked the animation for that. And this this final, or I guess just the boss level fight that they have against Gyotaro, like he really like amped it up, because Daki is they thought that she would be easy to defeat, and she pretty was, because Uzui comes in from behind and cuts her head off so easily, and then they just go to the next boss, and it just I can't stop geeking out about it, because and just like the appearance of Gyotaro when he first comes out, that animation quality was insane. Just I loved like the slow mo that they did for Uzui when he comes in with his blades, and like they just slow it down just a little bit and then he disappears. I thought that was like really cool. Do you guys have any other thoughts on just the Upper Moons? Anything you guys like to add?
I'm kind of curious where they're gonna go with them now, because like I said, after you see in this fight how in depth they went and how hard they struggle to fight and to beat them, it makes you think like the next ones, that the upper ones above them, are harder, So you kind of got to peek in the Mugen Train, but I mean, how is the number 1 gonna stack up or anything like that, So.
Do you guys have any thoughts on the one? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna mention their backstory. I loved it. Oh my gosh! I'm just like, you spend like most of the season just like kind of like hating on them, or at least in that direction, like you're against them in a sense. But just to see where they came from, and even amongst the demons, there's at least a shred, even if it's just the thinnest line of good, if you want to use that term. It's just like, it's like, how dare you at the very end do this to my heart?
Yeah, it's like the whole time you're like, oh, get him, but then when they give the backstory, like, oh man, I see how you became how you did, you're just like they're a subject of their surrounding, so.
But no, I love that they gave a pretty much a whole episode to go over their backstory. It felt like a whole episode. And especially like at the end when Gyutaro was like walking away from Daki, telling her to like leave, and then she like runs back after him, and I kind of felt that, like,
just that backstory is why I love Demon Slayer so much. Is a lot of folks give Tanjiro a lot of shit for just being soft or compassionate or empathetic towards his enemies. But when you see why, like even with Lower Moon 6, when Rui, his backstory, he was sickly, and then his parents gave him up to become a demon, and then they got the consequences of that. But like with Gyotaro and Daki, they their circumstances were absolutely terrible. Like especially with Gyotaro saying like, my mom tried to kill me, they didn't want me, but I survived this whole time. And then Daki gets, or Ume, which is her name, her human name, she gets born, and then he has to protect her, and then find out that he comes back from his job just to see her get burned. And man, I saw this picture on Facebook, and I absolutely loved the parallel that they had, where they show Tomioka facing Tanjiro and Nezuko, and then on the second half of the picture, it is Upper Moon. It's one of the Upper Moons. I don't want to tell you guys what number he is, but it's one of the Upper Moons who is seeing Gyotaro and Daki. So I love that parallel between Tanjiro's the Kamado siblings and the demon siblings. And then even like Tanjiro like talks about it too when he fights, when he was running away from Gyutaro. He's like, that could have been me if I had made the wrong choice, or if I didn't run into Tomioka. I really like. I had never really considered that. Even reading the manga, I finally just like. I guess when they show it visually, it was really cool to see that the contrast of these two characters. And then with Tanjiro like covering Gyotaro's mouth, like, don't say that, you guys are siblings, that's all you guys just have each other. Man, Tanjiro this is why like it's a love-hate for Tanjiro, right? Because he's so empathetic to the villains that people want to call him weak or call him soft. But like I love that they show this other side of a main character, that not everyone has to be Goku, super alpha male, and like defeat everyone with their hands high. Like you can still show compassion to the people or show compassion towards enemies like that.
Exactly.
It's the Naruto effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just shows that strength has different forms. It's not always just the raw power and having muscles and whatnot. And I just thought Hana and Natsuki did such a good job voicing him. I'm just like, oh, you're the reason. This is like one of the reasons why you're one of my favorite seiyus.
He does an amazing job. I'm so glad he recovered from COVID too, which was crazy to see that he had COVID during I don't know if it was during, but he had COVID a couple of months ago. And it's really cool just to see how much effort the seiyus put into the characters, like especially when Uzui and Gyutaro have their moment in episode 10, and they're just going back and forth. And I saw on Twitter that Ray Chase, he's the English dub voice actor, he's like, I have a lot of homework to do to see that this fight scene was like this, so they set the standard so high.
And with the Seiyu, I just keep thinking back to like because I think I'm still making my way through the series, but I don't know if you guys heard of Vanitas no Carte, I think it's called, the case study of Vanitas, and Hana and Natsuki also voices Vanitas, and it's so different from this wholesome, compassionate being to this mischievous, like, I'm not exactly a good guy, but I am, but I'll do whatever it takes kind of character. And just like as a budding voice actor myself, I'm just like, oh my, so good. And exactly what you said about just setting the bar so high. It's just like, oof. It's like, what do you do?
I feel that same exact way with Inosuke Seiyu. I wrote it down because I can't really remember it. I'm bad, but Yoshitsugu Matsuoka. So he voices Shao in Genshin, and Bell Crano, and from Danmachi, if you've seen that, and then Soma from Shokugeki, Food Wars. And then on all of those, he's kind of just got this like kind of like heroic, like innocent, but then he goes to Inosuke, he's like all out, like I don't know how his throat is like surviving that kind of like grunting. And then after, I was hoping we can get on the topic of seiyus because like there's some on here. Like I said, Suma, she voiced on Rent a Girlfriend and Bunny Girl Senpai, and I think her voice is just very distinct. And then Daki's voice, Miyuki Sawashiro, she's the voice of Raiden Shogun and Raiden Mei from Genshin and Honkai, which I've played this for a long time. And like the fact that she didn't really even sound the same, but it was her. You can tell it's her when she starts crying because she actually does cry in Honkai. But like just the range from being like a real like innocent to like very sadistic. The seiyus are so talented.
And on that topic as well with Genshin, I didn't know, but the voice actor for Gyotaro is the same one for Bennett.
No way.
The voices are polar opposite.
No way.
Dude, I did not know that. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna look it up right now. But yes, I saw on. I usually try not to believe Twitter, but I'm most likely sure that is the case. Let me look that up right now just to confirm. But yeah, just the contrast in his voice is absolutely insane. Like I don't know how you can go about that. And he's also the voice for Naoto from Tokyo Revengers as well. And just his name's Ryota Osaka. So give me 1 second here. Yeah, so he is Bennett.
That's insane. That is actually nuts.
Yeah, so that is I don't know how, like I'm so glad like with Genshin they're giving more voice actors like opportunities to be recognized. And so now that you see all their work, I am still surprised that some of these top tier voice actors are in the games like that. I'm like when Inosuke got announced as Xiao, I was like, holy crap! I had to pull for Xiao just because of the voice for Inosuke.
I wish I could speak more on the Japanese voices for Genshin, but I play it in the English. But even still, like when I think of Christina V voicing Bennett in the English, I'm just like, what? And Shincho? It's like, excuse me? Wow.
If you want to start your own podcast like Spoiler Force, then sign up with Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout has helped hundreds of thousands of users like me to begin their podcasting journey. With easy-to-use tools, you can effectively get your podcast into different platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and more. You can view your stats, create audio clips, and even have your own podcasting website. Buzzsprout offers ideas, tips, tricks, and tutorials to help you improve your podcast. Follow the link below, and once you sign up, you'll get a $20 Amazon gift card. This will let Buzzsprout know that I sent you and will also support Spoiler Force Podcast. If you want a simpler way to record both video and audio for your podcast, then sign up with StreamYard. StreamYard is the perfect program to create podcasts, host live streams, and even do video calls. There are many tools that can help you create and design your own personal studio. You can screen share, read live comments, and stream to different destinations like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can also download your video and audio once you're done with your recording session. Follow the link below, and once you sign up with the basic or pro plan, you'll earn a $10 credit to use for StreamYard. Happy podcasting. But back to Demon Slayer, I guess for Michael and Sharon, when you guys saw the next Upper Moon, what was your thoughts on just the tease there? Because he's voiced by the Japanese seiyuu for Light Yagami.
Sorry. As soon as he showed up, I was just like, no way. No way. No way. If you can't already tell, I'm a huge fan of Miyano Mabura. I thought it was just absolutely insane. He fit the character so well. And just like, it kind of reminds me, like the slight deviousness that each of the Vermoons like show, it kind of reminds me a little bit of his other character, Dazai from Bungo Stray Dogs. I'm just like, I feel like if I were him, I would pull a little bit from Dazai a little bit and bring it into Doma. And I remember before we started recording, like throughout this entire week, I was still just like, is this real? Like, I couldn't get over it. So yeah, those are my thoughts. What about you guys?
I remember seeing like Akaza like in like a tower or something like that. Was that not? Is that a different thing?
That was
No, I think you're right. They showed him a little.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because
yeah, because
okay.
Muzan like brought all the upper moons together. But like in
Right,
the flashback for Gyotaro, they run into Doma, who is another upper moon.
Oh, is that the one who gives them the turns them into
blood.
demons?
Yeah. So what
Oh,
are your thoughts on him?
okay.
Because at that point in that episode, in that flashback, he's upper moon 6 in the flashback. So obviously he's gone up. But I won't
okay.
spoil you what number he is though. But
Okay.
But he's like, he's one of the bigger bad guys in there.
He seems pretty because if I remember correctly, he's like carrying like a corpse's limb as he like sees them, and he's like, here, take some of my blood or whatnot. Pretty interested to see like how like at what level like his insanity is. But yeah, I actually that it didn't cross my mind that he was gonna be like, it should have. I feel kind of stupid. But yeah, so if there's 6, then that means he's moved up, and then there's 6 now. Great explanation for someone as blunt as me.
And Bobby, what was your thoughts on Doma being shown in the last episode?
I like same with Michael. Like I'm kind of curious where they're gonna go with him. Like you said, I haven't finished all the way through with the manga. I'm at I believe it's the Sword Arc right now. I'm still kind of just reading through it right now. So I'm kind of curious where they're gonna go with him on that. But yeah, I mean, it's just more the character development, just trying to see what happens with him after, like you said, after he came in at 6. Now where is he on the upper moon? So.
Yeah, I'm glad that in Mugen Train that they show, they show like the silhouettes of the upper moons, just to give the audiences like teases of who they are and how powerful they could be, and with Gyotaro and Daki being so powerful already, being number 6, just to see how strong is upper moon 5 and 4, and then there's Akaza, and then upper moon 2, and of course upper moon 1. If they give the Hashiras a run for their money like this, like I can't wait to see how they're going to animate these next fight scenes, especially with season 3 being announced too, the Swordsmith arc, and I'm surprised they actually made that into like a TV arc instead of just a movie. Because after reading the manga, I feel, this is just my opinion, I feel like they could just make movies out of this series until it's done. They could
double up on it too, to do movies and then replay it on the anime and make it double it up. So I mean, some people don't like sitting through movies too. So because like I said, there were people who didn't see the Mugen Train movies. So
to me, it's bonkers because like the amount of budget that goes into a movie and like the animation quality. Good lord, my eyes were like in nirvana watching that. Just like how smooth the animations are and everything. But I wouldn't be opposed to it. I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't able to, but with how much they actually made from Mugen Train, I don't know.
I mean, if they were smart, they'll keep up with it, keep doing it. Like, one movie and then an anime arc and then a movie arc again. So, but I'm pretty sure some people don't like it either. So it's a hit or miss.
I think as long as they just don't do a complete retelling of the movie, just like how they did Mugen Train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's exactly what Naruto and Dragon Ball did. They're retelling the story, but then they add in more details, or like you can tell like the quality is much different compared to the movie. But Ufotable has a huge budget, and I'm pretty sure with that tax evasion fee they got, I'm pretty sure they still have money to recover from that.
I'm glad he paid his taxes, man. When I saw that article come out, I was like, oh no, they're gonna stop Demon Slayer.
So fill me in. What was that all about?
Oh yeah.
I think that
No, me too,
I don't
me
want. Yeah,
Tell
I
me.
don't know if it was the CEO, but whoever was in charge at eFoldable, they forgot to pay their taxes and
Oh,
yes.
got hit with the
jeez.
250K fee.
Yeah. So there's like this big article saying like, oh, they owe this much money, and then people were thinking like, oh man, if they're gonna have to pay the taxes, how are they gonna pay the animators, and how are they gonna create the stories and everything? So, but like I said, I'm pretty sure they made a lot of money to pay it and pay the fine or whatever. So hopefully they get an
I'm pretty
accounting
sure
in
they
there.
made up for it. Like
I'm sure they
the, the sacrifices of not paying taxes paid off with Demon Slayer. That's why like their first season was just such high quality. So all that money
Oh,
went to that. That's what I'm just thinking. Just like, all right, we're gonna sacrifice the taxes this year. We're just gonna invest
1 year.
and
We'll back tax. We'll pay back taxes.
Yeah. Was there any moments in this, I guess, in this arc that you guys found a little bit underwhelming at all? Like anything that you guys were not impressed with?
I wouldn't say underwhelming. There was one part I love how they showed Nezuko's demon art in there, or went into more in depth of it, like what it can do, especially at the end too. I did like how they character developed her and just everything, like just how she's growing and everything like that. So that was one thing that I enjoyed seeing in the anime.
I on that point was actually a little like I'm actually a little in like I don't want to say against or disagreement with that. I felt there was a lot of plot armor with Nezuko. Like I felt like they didn't really go into her. I mean, maybe they will in future, but like her just coming out and transforming is like the off factor. It's really cool, but like there's not much explanation with it. And then like her having the ability to like just dispel like poison with her fire. I mean, like there's just again there's I I need an explanation. Like like it was especially because like you see like Inosuke like dying and from the poison and you're just like, oh crap, like don't okay, I haven't read far enough. I've heard that there's some things that I'm not gonna like in the later seasons, so I'm like, oh shoot, is this it, is this does he die? I don't know. I really don't know. So but seeing him like that, and then seeing him like already get stabbed by Gyutaro, you think he's dead, and then he's like, I can move my heart, and that's another plot armor thing.
Exactly.
It's just like then he comes up and it's like, okay, maybe he's really gonna die now. Oh no, Nezuko comes. I'm like, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah, I was thinking somewhere along the lines of like anime physics and logic. It's like, oh, I can conveniently move my heart, so you don't stab it. It's like, okay. It's like, yeah, some people might be like flexible, may purposely knock their like ball out of the socket or whatever, but that's just taking it to a new level. But
yeah.
But Nezuko's fire ability did provide some funny moments, especially with Tengen. She just shows up like, hi.
What are you doing?
And then Suma just going nuts. Oh, you're
He's not even
too early for cremation.
But for me, those last things, if I could do the SpongeBob meme, plot armor.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there was definitely a lot of plot armor. Like for me, I this is just my thoughts on comparing Tanjiro with the manga counterpart of it, because in the manga, his form where he becomes like where he has the fever, and he starts going off on Daki. Like I thought it looked a lot better in the manga than it did in the anime. That scene was a little bit underwhelming for me, only because I felt like they should have added more emphasis on his look, and definitely the animation for the fight. I thought it was just a bit too, I guess, choppy. The same thing with Nezuko when she transforms into the adult. In the manga, she looks a lot more ferocious compared to the anime. But overall, they did well. I just kind of wish that they put in a little bit more time into it. But then as you can see, episode 10 took all that money, so you know can't blame them for that. But I that's just my you know my 2 cents on just what I thought could have been better, or what I thought was underwhelming, because you know with Tanjiro having the fever and then learning and performing all those Hinokami techniques, I kind of wish that they went to, like, they should have made that look more, I guess, fire. I guess the best way I can say it. No pun intended with that, but you know, just to see him be more explosive fighting Daki, and just it just was, I don't know, it just was not great to me. I just thought that it wasn't that great, but I do like though that they did show you, and they tease what was it the what's his name? I'm drawing a blank on his name already, but the guy that Muzan fears the most, the guy that passed the earrings on to Tanjiro's family, the first Demon Slayer. They show him, like, they show Muzan's memory, and they
Oh yeah,
and
because
Daki,
they're
like,
Daki's like, why am I so afraid, or whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't have any recollection of this. But not Tanjiro's dad. I don't know.
I can't say. If I say it, it'll spoil
Okay,
it.
so I'll stop
But-
there. I'll stop there. I
Yeah,
won't
but-
ask.
Your show is called Spoiler Force, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
but Michael and Sharon haven't read the manga yet, so I can't say.
No,
because-
I will.
They'll go more. I can say this though. They'll go into detail more. I believe in the next season, because these flashbacks that they show, they like like for example, like when Tanjiro had the flashback against fighting against Rui, that's
Mhm.
that's going to come more into play. Like Tanjiro's going to have more flashbacks, and you're going to see like brief explanations of like more backstory. But I, you know, that's for another season. But other than that, I think overall everything else was okay. I just wish that they just fixed up more on that particular fight scene. You know, did you guys have any thoughts on just yeah, I guess just the how can I say it? Like, did you guys have any thoughts on just how they? Oh, you know what? The Snake Hashira. That's who I was going to bring up. When he came in at the end, what was your guys' thoughts on him?
Why so late, bro?
I know, right?
Like, I wanted to see something out of him, but I mean, the fact that he showed up, I guess it's a good thing. But I mean, guess you got to work on that speed, man. Get there quicker. So.
Well, I mean, this fight did, like, it happened
Demolish
pretty
a town.
quickly, and
It happened
it
quick.
really showed that it didn't stop. So it probably all happened within one night.
Yeah,
It's
that's
crazy
true.
if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, you see the damage that he had around the whole entertainment district
Yeah.
too. So it's just, I mean, literally everything was destroyed. So especially like I like that one part right when they chopped his head off, and then there's that one last attack coming, and then Tanjiro was just sitting there like, "What's going on? I'm about to die!" And then the blood art explodes, taking out everything. So I mean, I like that. That was a good animation over there, explaining
Mhm.
what happened too. So
I think that with Obanai, the Snake Hashira, like him coming so late, I always like try to think of, had he made it there in time, how quickly they probably could have killed Upper Moon 6.
Oh,
But then, you know, just through plot armor, he showed up late. And I like how he called out Uzui. You know, he's like, you guys struggled against Upper Moon 6. You know, that's the lowest one. And what are you planning to do? So Uzui's just like, I'm gonna retire now.
Retire,
I
yeah.
can't do this.
I
I don't
like
have
that
an
he
arm
kept the promise,
anymore.
though. So I mean, I'll be honest. Like, okay, if I actually, when you bringing up the whole like Daki being frightened of Tanjiro, the one thing I really love about this season is like the amount of like, bear with me, but the amount of like emotions that the season can take you through, because like they already showed you that they're not afraid to kill off like the Hashiras. Like, you know, I know for those who have seen it already, and they know who dies, who doesn't. This is for someone who hasn't and is just experiencing everything for the first time. But like, you know, they show you that they're not afraid to kill off Kyojuro. So you kind of start to wonder, like, oh crap, is this gonna be like a thing where Hashira dies every season? Like, I don't know. And then you see all these, like, whenever they do the flashbacks, you know, oftentimes they do it in ways to like say, oh, this is like their last moment, and you know, get to know them before they die, type of thing. And they had a lot of flashbacks with Tengen and his wives. So you're just like, crap, no, don't kill him off, and that type of thing. So the emotional aspect of that, and the other thing too is that like I love the parallel and contrast from like and the plot twist when Tanjiro was like running and he was just throwing stuff. You're like, man, is you kind of start to feel like it's really hopeless, it's desperate. Like even like with his 2 fingers broken, which they're pretty disgusting. But it flashbacks and shows that like he always had resolve. He never really gave up, and even though it looked like he always had a plan, it was just that like roller coaster that it took you on. I was pretty hyped for that.
You have any thoughts on that, Sharon? Just on I guess on more on Uzui, or just like or on Obanai as well, showing Obanai at the end.
I think you mentioned like how quickly the fight could have gone if he arrived sooner. It's like, yeah, that's true, but then what about the growth of the trio? Then I feel like that could have been sacrificed, it because with another Hashira, they wouldn't be doing as much. They wouldn't be pushed to the limit as much. So it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, it could have ended earlier, but he's not the main character. So
That is true.
Very good point. Very fair point.
That is good. Yeah, they probably would have been delegated to just clean up crew or keeping the crowd safe or this,
It wouldn't be
safe.
interesting.
Yeah, that is true. So
yeah, exactly.
Very
With
good
what was his name? Openeye?
Yeah.
Like apparently he doesn't like Tanjiro, so so I don't think he would have, at least him, he wouldn't have let him join like the major fight. But I kind of like how a lot of the Hashiras were very like hesitant about him, like when him and Nezuko were first presented in
Mhm.
front of the group of Hashiras. Like a lot of them, or pretty much all of them, were like, "Yeah, no, Master, I'm sorry. I know what your wishes are, but then I love how they slowly start to like see his potential and like accept it. It's like, oh snap, he's not just some idealistic kid that like he can maybe not back it up 100%, but he's getting there.
yeah,
So just
he's making a
see-
difference.
Yeah, Rengoku, no, Uzui, then hopefully the snake guy.
Well, I like that you bring that up, Sharon. Like, because even at the end where Uzui tells Obanai, like, they helped me. If it wasn't for them, I probably would be dead. And he's shocked, like, really, like that Kamado kid survived, And then they showed the next frame. They're all hugging each other, like, yeah, we're all alive. I'm so glad we're alive. And Zenitsu's like crying, and I love that part. He's like, my legs are broken. I don't know how this happened.
That's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, I each Hashira is I love how like Tanjiro's gonna like they each have their own, like the Upper Moons, they each have their own backstory, which I won't get into, but like once they start revealing the Hashira stories, it kind of makes sense on why they're so tough on Tanjiro too. And and Uzui, I think I've always felt like he felt neutral towards Tanjiro and Nezuko, because he was all about just being flashy, just doing his stuff. And then he cared more about his wives more than anything. So he didn't really care about what anyone else had to say. But what was your guys' thoughts on him, like just being injured like that post fight? You see him lose his arm, his eye got cut. And so what was your guys' thoughts on that?
I was thinking, how's this guy not fainted and his body not going shot all that blood loss? Like he was still fighting a lot after his hand, arm, whatever got cut off. I'm just like, anime physics. There you go. Prime example. But it was just interesting and just shows how tough the Hashiras are. Like they really are in a league of their own, and you need to be at that level to even stand a chance to fight against the Upper Moon. So
yeah, I like how they like even in the beginning when Tanjiro first meets him and he's just like, oh, he's fat, like he tries to headbutt him, but he moves out of the way, so it kind of gives you a glimpse of like the strength, like just seeing like, oh, he's fast, he was able to avoid me, and then just to see at that level how much they have to struggle against the upper moons just to defeat them. Like he lost an arm, got poisoned, had to basically throw everything against him just to defeat him, and still come out alive. So I mean, the fact that he still did come out alive, Nezuko was the one thing that saved him, in a sense. Yeah. So I mean, it just shows like the level. It shows the levels between everyone. That's what I enjoyed about it. Like it took Hashira and 3 students to kind of just take him out. So
I really liked how Uzui's like post fight, his wives are arguing. He's just like, "Is this how I'm gonna die? Not saying my last words."
yeah, they're not gonna let me say my last words. I'm gonna die.
His wives are
the
just
facial
bickering amongst each
expression
other.
too.
Yeah.
I know he's just got that like the eyes,
Yeah.
but I'll be honest. Well, it's kind of side note, but like I honestly I thought his white hair was a bandana that he wore when I first saw him, and then I was like, oh wait, that's his hair. But I'll be honest, I lost track of the question.
No, it's just I guess we just piggybacked up off just on the topic of Obanai and Uzui, because you know at the end here you see that you know Uzui's retired now, so there's still potential to have another Hashira, and even at the end, like the head of the Demon Slayer Corps, he even mentions like, you know, this is a game changing move, that the fact that we took out Upper Moon 6 in over 100 to 200 years, and that Tanjiro and his crew, like they are the game winning, you know, they're the MVPs. So the fact that at the end that it takes that, when even Nakaza mentions, you know, that fact that if Muzan summons us here, that means it's something serious, that an Upper Moon's been taken out. And I kind of wish that they touched up more on that meeting, because I really wish that they just showed like Muzan or teased the other Upper Moons instead of just Akaza being at the fortress.
I was hoping for that too, but yeah.
We'll probably get that in the first episode of the next season, but you know, I can't wait to see how pissed Muzan is. Just like, you guys, you know, you guys all suck, man. Like one of you guys got taken out already, you know, because you see how he was when the lower moons all failed him.
Yeah,
he took
that's
them all out.
Exactly what I was thinking. He killed everybody, and if that last guy didn't like beg in the proper way, he would have been dead too. Oh.
Especially like when you see, I can't remember if it was in the Mugen Train or Entertainment District arc, but when Akaza goes to see Muzan, and then he like he's all like, I killed one of them, and then Muzan's like, is that it? Like just one of them, and like just he like does one thing, and then like Akaza's just sitting there like trying not to like spit out blood, because whatever he did just hurt him. Just really shows you how frightening Muzan is.
Yeah, it was in the beginning of this season when that happened, where
I
think he sent them on a mission to go look for that flower or something, and then he was all like, I couldn't find it, but I was able to kill a Hashira, and then he's just all like, what is one? You know, like I want them all to die and everything like that. And I agree, like it just instills that the strength that he has and the fear that they all have of him, and he was able to just walk away from that too.
So you guys have any theories for the upcoming season then, for the Swordsmith arc? Because they teased, you know, the pictures of Mitsuri, the Love Hashira, and Muchiro, the Mist Hashira. So those two are going to be the Hashiras that we see in the next season.
I try to stay away from any potential spoilers, so I don't know what to expect, and I kind of like keeping it that way. Because I came across, I had to like close the browser out because I typed this couple things in, and some things started showing up, and it might have spoiled some things, but I'm hoping that they're not true. So after that happened, I'm just looking forward to seeing Ufotable animate another amazing season. So, but don't let that stop you guys from saying what you're expecting.
I mean, I'm one that can't wait. So like I said, I'm in that part right now, reading the manga. I just need to get further into it. But from what I am reading of it, it's good so far. I can't wait to see. wait till they animate it and just bring all the story to life. So it's, I mean, it looks good. I mean, they don't disappoint. Even like when I was reading the manga for this arc, I was trying to envision how they were gonna do all the fight scenes and everything, like, because you know you're just reading it and you have to get an idea of what's happening and how they're gonna do it. But I when it comes for paper to animation, it's completely different. I completely, even with watching the arc, I knew what was gonna happen, but I completely forgot how it happened, and so it literally is like still telling the story again. You just kind of know the ending. So same concept with this new arc. I think I'm building up to knowing what's going to happen at the end, but it's going to be interesting to see how they animate it and bring it to life. So
Well, my only thought is just I can't wait to see Tanjiro refine his breathing techniques. How they kind of tease how he merged the water breathing and the sun breathing together. That was really cool, and I hope that like he really refines that and he can really make it his own. And yeah, I think that's just it. I just hope that he continues to find himself as a member of Demon Slayer. But yeah.
I mean,
Well,
correct me
yeah.
if oops, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Bobby.
Oh no, I was gonna say, correct me if I'm wrong. If I remember, because I watched some of it again last night, they were saying that sun technique is the core of all of the breathing techniques, right?
Yeah, Rengoku's dad was like, he's like, you're here to mock me, you sun breather because the earrings.
Yeah.
He's like, all the main Demon Slayer arts are forms of the sun art, and so I thought that was a really big like Easter egg right there for fans, especially for manga readers. I really wish that they showed more of Rengoku's dad. Instead of him being like a drunk and all, like I wish they teased how he looked like when he was fighting.
Yeah.
Because if Rengoku was like that badass, then I wish that they showed him doing some sort of training or something. But the toll of losing Rengoku like affected him big time. And
maybe I missed it, but was he drinking because the mom died?
Well, he was already like depressed because Rengoku's mom died, and I think with Rengoku passing as well, it affected him more. And like even like in Rengoku's dream in Mugen Train, like his dad was like, what's the point of learning all of this? You're gonna fail anyways.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then like even with the book being all scratched out, because they mentioned that in Mugen Train where Rengoku's like, go find my father. He has the book of all the previous sun breathers. There might be something there, or previous flame breathers. There might be something of the sun breathers there. So, and then when Tanjiro finds it's all scratched up and ripped apart. So I thought that was a big, like, I guess when I first read that part, I was kind of pissed. I'm like, damn, I really want to know what was in that book.
The book, yeah. The way his eyes open, they're like, oh, he found something new. But then, oh man, it's just
nope.
Found
nothing. If I could take back what I said, okay, what I want to learn more about is about, I guess, Tanjiro's lineage and especially the scar on his head too. Because it's I know they mentioned that and he says like, no, I got this from burning charcoal, and then it changed, and then it looked like it changed again.
Yeah.
So, very, very curious to see where they're gonna go with that. And I need them to do some explaining with Nezuko. So.
I mean, but they did explain a little bit in the. I mean, I had to go rewatch this again just to make sure I'm right on this. But they did. Oh man, what's his name? I can't remember the dad, the drunk dad. What was his name again?
Rengoku's dad.
Rengoku's dad, yeah, Rengoku's dad. He did send him a letter about some of the techniques, right, or just like explaining some of it after he visited, right? Like,
something along those lines. Like he
was fighting. Yeah, he was fighting. He's all like, "Oh, you showed me something, and I don't know much about it, and this and that." And so, I mean, like I said, I have to go back and rewatch it just to make sure I understand or grasp the concept of what he was trying to say. So, but like you said, I hope they go. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that sun breathing technique too. Just read the manga, but got to see where it goes.
Any other input on that as well? Any other thoughts or theories?
Not really a thought, but can we just take a moment to appreciate that Tanjiro didn't lose or break his sword?
Well, he nicked it.
Oh yeah, he did nick it. That's right.
He nicked it, but then it is funny though that the swordsmith sent him that was it? Yeah, he sent him the letter and he like cussed
Yeah.
him out. It's like I'm not making you another sword or something like that.
But they'll explain why his sword is black, right?
Yeah, they'll go more into the whole idea of like why Tanjiro's sword keeps breaking or like why it's black. You know, like even Tanjiro says it himself, like he feels like he's not meant to do water breathing like Tomioka,
Yeah.
but then like he can't master sun breathing either. So like I really like during the fight with Gyotaro, he mixed up the techniques. You know, he used the footwork for water breathing and then used the power of sun breathing. And I hope
the animation on that was pretty clean.
honestly, I thought it looked better in the manga. I liked it better in the manga. I thought the manga panel was better because when I read that, I was like, "Holy shit!"
I'll
You know,
have
like
to- I'll
is he
have to go
gonna
look
like
at
start mixing the moves
panel.
up now? But then I think that's he only did it during that fight or that he did it the one time throughout that fight. So I was hoping he'd do more of that, and then just you know, I really just hope that you know they show more of I guess just show more. I guess in the manga or not in the manga, but the anime. I hope they show more of him because they could do things differently. I hope they just show more of the sun breathing animation too, because I like that they were showing him training the techniques, but then you know just because of plot armor, they don't even explain why. Like, how do you know or even remember all those techniques? You know, he's just out there just swinging his sword and he's getting all these moves down. You know, I kind of don't like that aspect of what makes Tanjiro like so well with the sun breathing.
I mean, but don't they show his dad doing it, and that's kind of how he's remembering the attacks or the technique?
Yeah,
the
but it's like writing wise, I just felt like they could have just explained that better. Like,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
You mean
I
just like how he's able to
remember
do
doing this, you know,
the
as a
Hino
kid.
Kamikagura?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he just remembers the dance, but then like next thing you know, he's like performing all the techniques and knowing all the names to the techniques. So I just kind of wish they went more into depth with that
I mean,
because
he just
they
gotta
only show him
He's just got to remember to breathe, man. He would have lasted longer if you just breathe through those techniques. He would have passed out.
pretty much. Yeah, but you know, again with this overall season, man, I really enjoyed what Ufotable has done. Not just like the fight scenes and animation, but again all the CUs and all the voice actors. And I know that the English dub is coming out soon. So anyone who only watches it English dub, you know, hope you guys enjoy their work as well. I know that again the Japanese voice actors set the bar so high for this series, and I cannot wait to see what they have coming for the next season. I believe sees the Swordsmith Arc season. I think that's a 12 episode season. I don't want to confirm that, but most likely just based on that arc itself in the manga, I'm pretty sure that's going to be 12 episodes. But yeah, you know, I guess you know before we wrap things up here, Sharon, can you let folks know how they can follow you in your podcast as well?
Yeah, sure. On Twitter and Instagram, if you guys just want to follow me at KMSharon95. I'm mostly, I think, active on Twitter. I'm retweeting fan arts all the time. And I do have a Twitter for my podcast, Sharon Stuff. So if you want to look up Sharon Stuff 21, there's that. My podcast is available on various platforms. The one I usually lead people to is Anchor. That's my host site. And then if you prefer other sites, you can just branch out from there. I do have a website called SharonStuffPod.com. So I post like most recent episodes. You can learn a little bit about me, my voice acting a little bit. So there's that as well. Yeah, email and stuff you can find on the website and all that stuff. Yeah, I think that's it.
Right, perfect. I'll have all that information for like that contains Sharon's you know social media and podcast in the show notes and description. So make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to Sharon, and make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to Spoiler Force on all podcasting platforms and all social media as well. Show support to to us Asian content creators. That we need that support. Thank you, Michael and Bobby, for making time to do this, and thank you, Sharon, for jumping in on here as well. Hopefully we can collaborate sometime. Just do more one-on-one episodes as well. But yeah, this has been great. Demon Slayer is again an anime that I have to review on, and now with Attack on Titan coming up too. So hopefully I can try to get at least Bobby on the Attack on Titan episode as well. So,
Is that one almost
like,
done?
I think they're almost done. They'll be done by March, by the end of March.
Okay. And then
So
have they confirmed the movie at the end, or?
I don't know if they do a movie at the end, then holy crap! But they have to. There's no way they're not gonna do one.
I mean, yeah, they have to, the way that the ending is, but it's gonna be interesting because, like, at first I thought there was only gonna be a few more episodes, but then when I really went back and thought about the manga, I was like, wait, there's a lot of things that happen before it gets to the big finale. So,
but yeah, again, thank you guys for making time to do this, and yeah, so that's pretty much it, you guys. This is episode 109 of Spoiler Force Podcast, and you guys have a great day. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to give a review and rate Spoiler Force Podcast. If you want to get all Spoiler Force updates or even peeks at behind the scenes, you can join the Spoiler Force Discord community. And if you'd like to show support, give tips, recommendations, sponsorships, or any collaborations, you can email me at rickyvang92@gmail.com.